What do you think of that rule, Brendan? I mean, I enjoy the possibility of seeing the car count go up by one, especially with all the big names this year. But it does kind of feel like a slippery slope and something that's pretty arbitrary, but NASCAR could just hand out at their discretion.
Well, on the way home from work, I saw your note there about it being a slippery slope, and my instant reaction was just like, "Come on, really? Slippery slope? Come on? Are we just?" And no offense to you, Ben, are we just fighting for arguments here? Like, but no. And then I thought about, I calmed down, I thought about it, and then decided, you know what, you do have a point, because like when these sorts of things happen, we let anyone in, on a well, he's not just anyone though. He's a multiple Indy 500 champion, and has the potential to win more than anyone ever has at the greatest spectacle in racing. Um, but you know, it kind of opens a door. I see what you mean of who exactly are we going to let in after this. I'm all in favor for just more cars on the grid. 41 cars sounds amazing for the Daytona 500. I can't remember that such joyous times, but I also want people to go home no matter, regardless of who they are, their accolades. But I hear both sides of the fence, and I tend to agree with both sides. And I know that's hard to talk about on a show because we need to pick one side or the other. But
well, I know everybody wants him in the race, right? You know, it would be really unfortunate if he got sent home. But at the same time, Jimmy Johnson almost got sent home last year. If the race had been half a mile shorter, I think J.J. Yeley would have bumped 7-time champion Jimmy Johnson out. So, and then like we hear this rule like this provisional needs to be applied for like 90 days in advance or something. I don't know. What if Legacy Motor Club had applied on behalf of Jimmy Johnson, right? He's a living legend of the sport. I think he would probably qualify. Martin Truex Jr. is a Cup Series champion as well. He's going to be trying to make his debut with Tricon. Like, I don't know. It seems to me like if you only have one of these spots open, it seems way too open for NASCAR's discretion and NASCAR's discretion only. Like, it doesn't seem like it seems like this is something that won't come up super often and is well-intentioned because you want to get your big name in the race.
yes,
But I just don't know in reality how well it works. I think that it, like I said, it's kind of a slippery slope here. You don't know what circumstances it could lead to in the future.
I want to give it the benefit of the doubt. I want to think it's a very special one-time case with a multiple Indy 500 champion from a different discipline of racing. But at the same time, I think if you're going to give it to Elio, you need to be giving it to Jimmy Johnson. And if Richard Petty were of age, and he wanted to enter the Daytona 500, if you're going to give it to someone who has had success outside of our sport, if you care so much about the, people outside of the sport coming in, if you treat them with such hospitality, you sure as heck need to give that same hospitality, if not more, to your 7-time champions that are living and want to still make starts in your biggest race all year.
Yeah, and well, on that note, we know what maybe a 41st spot's going to open up for Elio. Let me just go through some of the open cars here for the Daytona 500. Martin Truex Jr., Tricon, trying to make one final Daytona 500 start, perhaps. Jimmy Johnson's back in his own car, Legacy MC. Corey LaJoie is going to be part-time this year with Rick Ware Racing, the number 01, tribute to his podcast, Stacking Pennies. He's going to be trying to make the race. Chandler Smith, that Garage 66 car. That's 4 names right there, plus Elio. We haven't even gotten to Justin Allgaier yet. Junior Motorsports trying to make their Cup debut. That's a big story.
There's so
Anthony
many.
Alfredo, Beard Motorsports, always very fast. Live Fast Motorsports. BJ McLeod, they're going to be back. JJ Yeley nearly stole the show last year. There's 45 cars on this entry list, which is great. But I'm looking at this entry list, Brandon. I'm thinking to myself, surely a big name is going to get bumped.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. And I think you want to ask me who I think that's going to be. Possibly. I mean,
go ahead.
I mean, take your pick. If Jimmy Johnson is not getting a provisional, not getting that, not getting that guaranteed start like we're giving our IndyCar champion Elio Castroneves. he's on the chopping block. Truex could be on the chopping block. You absolutely could have a big star going home, and I like that. I think that's what's going to make Wednesday night so fun. Oh, well, sorry, not Thursday night. Wednesday night qualifying for all the other.
Both of them, because two names will lock their way in on speed on Wednesday, and then we'll
Right.
find out the last ones in the duels. But
I mean, yeah, absolutely. You have a probably a greater chance this year than many other years previous, or in a long time, for a big name to not make the show. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's great drama, and it's going to encourage people to tune in. It's going to encourage people to talk about it on social media. And if there's anything Speed Week needs, it's more attention. We need more attention on everything besides the race. I think the race is doing fine on its own, but we need to give people more reasons to tune in on these weeknights too.
Yeah, that's what makes the Indy 500 qualifying so special. Is it just doesn't matter who you are, and even here we still know what 90% of the field is going to look like. But I'm telling you, man, we don't have a champions provisional anymore. I bet Jimmy Johnson and Martin Truex Jr. both wish we did. But if I were a fan of either of those two drivers, I'd be nervous, because I think Toyota has struggled for single lap speed in Daytona 500 qualifying in the past. I just don't have the confidence that they're going to be in the top two on Wednesday night to lock their way in. I think they might have to race their way in. And I mean, imagine if they're in the same duel. I think it's, if you had to look at it on paper for favorites, you got to like Truex and Johnson and Justin Allgaier and Elio are probably the four biggest names, right? But
yes, but
of those being the four, I don't know. I like some of these underdogs, man. I think it's going to be tough.
I do too. And with Truex Jr., like, that wrap is so deceiving because it looks like he's in a Joe Gibbs machine. No, it's a truck team making a cup start, or attempting to anyway. This is not their wheelhouse. It's a completely different machine. And these big names are going to struggle. I'm with you. There's going to be some upset and some hurt feelings, and maybe some money wasted because you're not making it to Sunday.